Hey guys, it's me Jerika and welcome back to another video. Today's topic is all about nursing again. So I've been asking my friends about their nursing experiences here in New Zealand. So yeah, why not interview myself? Some of my friends are very shy and hindi ko talaga sila mapilit, but I will do my best para makausap sila about their experiences here in New Zealand. Yeah, while waiting for some friends na mapilit ko, I will talk about my experience here in New Zealand. So, my name is Jerika. I am working as an ear nurse in a private clinic. I have a list of questions that I've been asking my friends out. I'll just follow that one. So, how long have you been here in New Zealand? So, I've been here in New Zealand since March 2020. I was one of the lucky ones who got in before the lockdown happened. I've arrived here in New Zealand March 17 or 18, and then Jacinda, their prime minister, announced the lockdown around March 20. So I was quite very blessed and lucky. It's a very long story. It was very tiring. You can check my videos about how we came here, our isolation experience. So that time it was still self-isolation, so we don't need to go to a government facilitated hotel, and we don't have to pay that 3,000 New Zealand dollars yet. Now I think they're doing that. I'm not so sure about the exact details of that, but for us it was just self-isolation. If you have a house here in New Zealand, you can stay there for 14 days and isolate yourself. It was not that strict before. So the next question is, what is your experience before coming here in New Zealand? So most of my experience are on outpatient department, mostly ENT, ears, nose, throat. So I was working with an ears, nose, throat surgeon, and then sometimes if he's on the theater doing operations, doing surgeries, I'm actually a floater. So sometimes I'm on pediatric OPD setup or on OB-GYN floor, neurology, what else? Anesthesia clinic. So basically everywhere. But that's the good in it because I have a little bit of ideas on that certain department. So that's a good thing. I've also worked as a laser therapist for 1 year. So that's more on hair removal. So next question is, what's your pathway coming in New Zealand? If you're watching my vlogs already, you already know that I did a DIY process. So I just went to the New Zealand Council site and I just follow all the steps there. It's very easy, just read it thoroughly. It's easy to follow. I'll just link them down below. You can just check that out. So next one is, where did I finish my CAP? For me, I got in at Rannerdale. So I think I got my New Zealand Nursing Council acceptance letter around August or October, and then I was looking for schools around October to November 2019, and then I got an offer for 2 schools. So that's Rannerdale and Wesley. So that time, that was around November 2019. So Rannerdale was offering me March 2020 intake and Wesley was offering me September 2020 intake. So for me, I just grabbed the earliest slot. So I grabbed Rannerdale, and that's in Christchurch, and I paid around 10,500 New Zealand dollars, and that was supposed to be a 6 weeks of CAP course, but for us it was in between lockdowns, so we have to be flexible, and instead of having 2 weeks of theory, we did 3 weeks and then 4 weeks of clinical placement. So yeah, all in all 7 weeks, but not that bad. So we had our clinical placement on a rest home. First 2 days we were working with the healthcare assistants, and then the following days until the 4th week is with the registered nurses. So basically what the registered nurses do is just wound dressing, medications, documentation. Yeah, that's it. I wouldn't say it's difficult. Every school will differ. So this is just my opinion, and this is just based on my experience. So for me, it was not that difficult. But you need to study, of course, because there are a lot of practices, different practices here compared to what we are doing in the Philippines or in UAE. So it's very different. We just need to let ourselves learn and to be open on the new practices here, because that's why we're taking the CAP, so that we can know what are their safe practices here, because it's definitely different from what we're used to. Next question is, where am I working now? So I'm currently working as an ear nurse in a private clinic. So I just got lucky because my experience is more on the ENT side, so ears, nose, throat. So I was very familiar with all the procedures. It was a very easy transition for me. So how's the setup, routine at work? So basically we have an 8-hour shift. So here we are paid per hour. I do 40 hours a week, so that's Monday to Friday. We have 2 days off here, Saturday and Sunday. I was very happy to get 2 days off because back in UAE we only have 1 day off. So as an OPD nurse, we only have Friday off, and that's the only time that we can spend that to our family, to go grocery shopping, to have fun at the park, at the beach, at the mall. So we only have 1 day to do everything that you want. But here we have 2 days off. Sometimes some nurses, they only have 4 days of work or 3 days of work, so it depends. So that's what I love about New Zealand, because they value your safety, they value family time. That's my routine at work. So 8 hours, 30 minutes lunch break, that's not paid. And then in between that 8 hours, we have 10 minutes of tea break, and in the afternoon 20 minutes of tea break. And in between that, we also have like 10 minutes of cleaning all the instruments that we've used, because we have to clean and autoclave all our instruments. So they also give that time. How many patients do I see in our everyday clinic? Usually 20 to 26 patients. It depends. But yeah, the nursing here is very independent, especially in my field, because we don't have doctors there. We only have us nurses and the audiologists. So we're the one doing the procedures, not the doctors. So salary range, it actually depends on your experience, but yeah, maybe 28 New Zealand dollars to 35 or more New Zealand dollars per hour. So what do I like about it? What I like about this now is it's only in morning shifts. Coming here in New Zealand, I don't have a car yet, I don't know the place yet, so it's kind of scary if I go out in the middle of the night, walking, waiting for a bus or looking for an Uber to go to my job. So it was a scary thought for me. So yeah, it will actually depend on our preferences, but for me, I don't like shiftings. For us OPD, we don't usually do night shifts, so yeah, I got used to that. And especially I have my family there before, so time is very important to me, because even just a little bit of time, I can spend it with my husband and my daughter. What I also like is it's a weekend off, and holidays are off too. So if you're working on a ward, you obviously will have shifts during the weekends or holidays. But for me, as I've told you before, I got used to an OPD setup, so I just want my weekend and my holidays with my family, because that's my priority. So it depends on our preferences. So some nurses, they want to work on a weekend, so working on a weekend or working on holidays is a different rate. It's much higher. So yeah. So what do I hate about it? Well, hate is a strong word, but yeah, sometimes we encounter difficult patients, difficult cases. I don't hate it, but yeah, it's hard. Let's face it, it's hard, but it's part of the job. I even had this patient before that there's a foreign body in his ears and it's a cockroach, and my #1 fear is insects, especially cockroaches. So yeah, I have to be professional. Yeah, I did my best and remove it, even I was shaking, because I don't like cockroaches at all. So yeah, I have to face my fears because I'm a nurse and I should help them. And yeah, nursing practice here is very independent, unlike in UAE, because doctors are the one doing the procedures over there. So mainly the nurse will just assist with the doctors. Here the nurses are doing the procedures. So if ever there are cases that the patient is not happy with the service or they felt pain, you're the one who's gonna answer for that because you're the one who did the procedure. But back in UAE, the doctor is the one doing the procedure, so they are there to save you because you didn't do anything. The doctor did the procedure, so you're just there to help the doctor out. There are pros and cons, but that's the way life is. So what are your tips for aspiring nurses? Yeah, I know it's kind of scary to start again in a new country, especially for me. I got in New Zealand alone, and my husband was still working in Dubai that time, and our daughter was with my in-laws. It was very difficult for us because it's the first time that we've been separated. So yeah, we just need to sacrifice a little bit for the future, for our daughter's future, for our family's future. So yeah, I know it's gonna be very difficult at first, but we need to sacrifice something to gain something. So yeah, with all the hard work that you're gonna do, I'm sure it will be pretty fruitful once you've achieved your goal. Just continue to pursue your dreams and everything will follow. So that's our video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.